Coming up this week, where is your faith? Hello everyone and welcome to Sunday Spoilers. I can't wait for Sunday, can't wait for worship, can't wait for us to be able to be together and to be in God's presence and to celebrate the goodness of God. This is a chance for us right now to prepare ourselves for that time, to go into worship expecting God to do good things, to prepare ourselves, to prepare our hearts, to prepare our minds for what God is going to reveal to us, for what God is going to share with us, and for what God is going to show to us as far as what life can be. We're continuing our series this summer on the questions of Jesus, and more specifically looking at these questions from the standpoint of, what if Jesus asked me this question? And so the question for this week is, where is your faith? Now, I think sometimes we don't think of faith as something that we can lose. You know, we can lose our keys. I ask the question probably every day, where are my keys? Where are my keys? It's a physical thing that I can misplace and lose. We don't have to think of faith as something that we can lose in that kind of a sense. And so when Jesus asked the question, where is your faith? It kind of causes us to think a little bit, which is what all these questions do, to think about the idea of faith, to think about what faith means to us, to think about what faith does for us. And the context of Jesus asking this question is in the middle of a storm on the water. So this is coming from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 4, verses 35 through 41. Let's hear this. That day when evening came, he said to his disciples, "Let us go over to the other side." Leaving the crowd behind, they took him along, just as he was, in the boat. There were also other boats with him. A furious squall came up, and the waves broke over the boat, so that it was nearly swamped. Jesus was in the stern, sleeping on a cushion. The disciples woke him and said to him, "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" He got up, rebuked the wind, and said to the waves, "Quiet, be still." Then the wind died down, and it was completely calm. He said to his disciples, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" They were terrified and asked each other, "Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." So I think we can understand that life is something that often has storms. We face storms in life. There are things that come up that we didn't expect. There are things that come up that are hard to deal with. There are things that come up that just that we don't know what to do. We don't know how to face it. We don't know how to understand it. And so we panic, we get fearful, we get afraid of what might happen. And that's the kind of situation where the disciples were. They were afraid. They look over and they see that Jesus is asleep. And their first thought is, why don't you care about us? There's this thing out here that's about to kill us, and you're asleep. And that's the context of, where is your faith? Do you still have no faith? And I think that's something that kind of speaks to us. What does faith do? How do we approach faith? How do we utilize faith? What does faith mean to us? How can we access our faith? How can we develop our faith? How can we utilize that faith in a way that helps us to move forward? And I think that's one of the key components of being people who follow Jesus. That in his presence, we have this power. In his presence, we have this ability to see things in new ways. In his presence, we have an opportunity to know that he can do all things. And that when we are by him, we can be a part of that. We can be a part of that reassurance and that trust that he's ultimately walking with us in life. So I can't wait to get deeper into this coming weekend, this coming Sunday as we worship together, to talk more about faith, to talk more about fear, to talk more about how we can maybe approach those two things, how we can weather those storms that come up in our lives, and how we can continue to sing and praise God for all the good things that he does. I can't wait till then. Take care, everyone. We'll see you then.